No Recipe Required. So pesto sauce is one of my absolute favorites. Frankly, just start off with the color. It looks absolutely phenomenal. That bright green, vibrant color. The flavors then are absolutely awesome. Basil, garlic, cheese. How can you go wrong, right? So I'm going to show you how to make the pesto sauce. We're going to throw it with some penne for a pretty traditional but simple and very tasty penne pesto pasta. Let's go ahead and get started.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to blanch basil. Now, this is what we're going to use for our pesto, but blanching is a technique that we should all learn, pick up. Here I've obviously got a big bunch of herbs, and you can do this with a bunch of different herbs. I've got a pot of boiling salted water, and literally you just drop that right in there, give it a little stir, and what the blanching is going to do, it's actually going to cook the leaves. And believe it or not, although it's sitting in water, the blanching or the cooking is actually going to draw water out of the cells of the basil and really just kind of concentrate the flavor, break down those the cell structures, and give it or take away some of that raw taste. It really only takes 35 to 50 or so seconds, definitely under a minute, to do a blanch like this, provided you got the water nice and hot, which you should do. And then once you get it done, we're going to remove it, strain it, and then run it under ice cold water to really set that bright green color. If you just kind of take it out, it'll turn a dull kind of military green, puke green, which isn't any good. All right, let's go ahead and make our basil. I've got my my blanched spinach right here. I'm just going to actually, I don't even need to drop it up or chop it up. You can kind of tear it up a little bit. If you got some of the thicker stems, beating those up a little might help a little bit, but you don't need to do a whole lot to it. I've also got my my toasted pine nuts. I'm going to use, what is that, half a handful, probably a tablespoon and a half, at least to start with. I've got a few in reserve. I'm also going to add some Parmesan cheese. This is, again, probably 2 good tablespoons there. And then we'll hit it with some olive oil, a good amount. So the olive oil plus a little bit of water is going to provide the blender with enough liquid to actually spin and really combine all these ingredients. We also want to season a little bit with salt and with pepper. And then I also like to add just a little bit of lemon juice to mine. Really half a teaspoon or so. Certainly to start with. You're not looking for obviously a lemon tasting sauce, but I find the acid from the lemon helps keep everything a little bit greener, and I also like the brightness that the acidity gives the pesto. So I'm going to go ahead and start pulsing this, and let everything just kind of come together and form that nice paste. Once it does, we'll come back and take a look. Okay, so we've gotten a nice little grate down. Now, first thing you want to do, you may have to scrape down the sides if you find it sticking around, but you want to give it a little taste. See if it needs anything. This actually, it tastes pretty good as it is. I don't know if you noticed when I stirred up, I actually think this pesto is a little bit looser than what I would normally expect. I must have just put in a little bit extra water, but not a huge deal. We can deal with that. One, it'll still be great if you use it as is. Two, if you add a few more nuts and maybe a little bit more cheese, that'll help thicken it up. And finally, when I tasted it, it was great, but I found it could use still a little bit more of that bite, a little bit more acid. So I'm going to touch it up with a little more lemon, and then we're going to go ahead and just blend it up again. Okay, pesto is done. You want to, of course, give it another taste. Make sure it meets your approval. This one does. So, as I said in the beginning, I messed up on my basil. I forgot to add any garlic. Now, normally I would chop a clove of garlic, throw it in the blender, blend it all together. That obviously gives a nice garlicky flavor to the dish. But since I forgot it, what are you going to do? You can do a couple things. One, forget it. Just go ahead and serve it as is. It'll still be delicious. Option 2, we know how to mince garlic. That's on the site as well. I've just got a clove here that I finely minced, and just put it in afterwards. You know, you can even add this back to your blender. Throw in a clove of garlic and get it in there. I've already put the blender away, so, you know, don't worry about it. Don't tell anybody. Nobody's going to know other than you. It'll be totally fine.
Once the pesto sauce is done, really, we just need to boil off some penne, and then we'll put it all together.
Okay, so reserve a little bit of your pasta water, and then go ahead and drain it off. We're going to come back, do our put together. Okay, so I did kind of a lazy drain on our penne. I don't mind if a little bit of the pasta water gets in there. And I'm going to grab a spatula and just toss our pesto right in. Mix this together for a minute or two. And then we're going to be good to go. Okay, so I've got my penne pesto kind of fully mixed up. You don't really need to cook the pesto at all. A little bit of olive oil, fresh olive oil in there. Give it one more toss. And then we've got our bowl. I'm going to serve it piled nice and high. Clean up our edges a little bit. And then just a little bit more grated parmesan right on top. And we got a beautiful penne pesto. I'll see you next time on No Recipe Required.